Greetings, welcome back to Black Bear News. And if you are tuning in, you might be smarter than the average bear. And today, covering a few stories from around the world. This out of Vietnam and Thailand. There's been some major storms there following the passage of Tropical Depression Kajiki. Floods and landslides have occurred across Vietnam and northern Thailand. According to media reports, as of September 5th, a few days ago, the number of fatalities in Vietnam has increased to 4, while 14 people are still missing. About 1,000 people have been evacuated in Quang Tri province in Vietnam. Transport disruptions from inundated roads have been reported. In Vietnam and Thailand, heavy rains will continue to affect Vietnam, central and northern Thailand. September 6th and 7th. And this out of the Pacific Northwest, scientists monitoring new marine heat wave off of British Columbia coast similar to the Blob. Phenomenon occurs when sea surface temperatures are higher than normal for at least 5 consecutive days. And as you can see, this is a situation we had going on September of 2014, and that the Blob was part of what added to the situation, the drought that was going on the West Coast. Woo! Couldn't even avoid that one. The drought that was going on the West Coast a few years ago, it was pretty severe. A new marine heat wave spreading across a portion of the Pacific Ocean off the coast of British Columbia has so far grown into one of the largest of its kind in the last 4 decades. Officials say second only to the infamous Blob that disrupted marine life 5 years ago. The swath of unusually warm water stretches roughly from Alaska down to California, according to the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration in the United States. The marine phenomenon began in the Gulf of Alaska sometime around June 15th and ballooned over the summer. A marine heat wave happens when sea surface temperatures are higher than normal for at least 5 consecutive days. Already on its own, it's one of the most significant events that we've seen. Andrew Leasing, a research scientist at NOAA's Southwest Fisheries Science Center in La Jolla, California, said in a statement Thursday. Leasing said this year's heat wave resembles a similar West Coast heat wave that upset marine life in 2014 and 15. Nicknamed the Blob, the system, which stretched from Mexico to the Bering Sea, was blamed for warmer weather on land, abysmal feeding conditions for salmon, and sudden deaths of 24 whales in the Pacific. And what have we seen this year? Quite a few deaths of whales in the Pacific Northwest, especially, as well as quite, a large number of salmon deaths have already occurred this summer. It's on a trajectory to be as strong as the prior event, and we aren't even in a El Nino yet, so that this is not portend well. And lastly, in this video, I want to cover this article from The Guardian out of Australia. Dead things everywhere. Is Australia facing the summer from hell? Of course, they are just getting out of their winter and entering their summer. The outlook is grim with low water storage levels and extreme temperature forecast by Lisa Cox. This is from yesterday, September 6th. Out in the Macquarie Marshes, about 100 kilometers north of Warren in the central west of New South Wales, large inland wetlands have become a place for the dead and dying. We went out last night, and there was a little patch of water with dead and dying European carp. Richard Kingsford, the director of the Center for Ecosystem Science at the University of New South Wales, said, "There's dead and dying things everywhere. Kangaroos dying and even foxes dying. We are trying to trap for turtles, but there doesn't seem to be enough water for turtles. I'm not sure where they've gone to. There are large parts of the Macquarie River, I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that correctly, have dried up completely as the state remains in the grip of one of the most severe droughts on record. Valley water storages in Macquarie are sitting at 11% in the Nimoy in northwest New South Wales, where water shortages have been acute. They are at 1.5%. That's really close to zero. The border rivers in the region between New South Wales and Queensland border are at 6%. In Sydney, dam storages have dropped below 50% for the first time in more than a decade. The summer of 2018 brought record-breaking heat for Australia. It's too early to say whether this summer will bring such extremes, but early outlooks for spring and December are again pointing to above-average temperatures, and with the exception of parts of Western Australia and the west of Tasmania, the outlook is for below-average rainfall. For the first 8 months of the year, the country's mean temperature was the second warmest on record. Mean maximums were the warmest on record over the same period, and mean minimums the equal sixth warmest. Australia basically brace for impact. They're getting a brunt of extreme weather conditions, of course, attributed to climate change. The El Nino Southern Oscillation is currently neutral and is expected to remain so until the end of 2019 and into early 2020. For prolonged dry and warm conditions have meant authorities have already issued warnings for the spring and into summer. Fisheries managers say they anticipate more fish are likely to perish this season if the drought continues. Also, agriculture, of course, and livestock are being deeply affected in Australia. This is not good news, of course. Australia is one of the places where every time we turn around, there seems to be another extreme weather event, either drought or flood or livestock dying off or wild animal populations dying off. Of course, the Great Barrier Reef dying off. So good luck and Godspeed to the people of Australia as they go into their next summer. Hold on tight. This is all I have for you today in this video. Thank you so much for your eyes, your ears, and your conscience. If you would like to support this channel, you can do so at the links below. Until next time.